let me just record this, just so we don't lose this. So could you call out just what we're going to do on the view right now, and then we'll have it documented, just in case we get fuzzy.
Yeah,
So,
what we'll do is that we'll have let me do it for this right here. So basically, we're going to have are there any emerging medical concerns, right? Why can't I move that?
Emerging medical. I'm going to do the switch view, Tony. So
okay. Awesome.
If you could just tell me what the questions are, Corey, and put the button there. So show me what you envision where the button will go. I can do the switch view.
Okay. So basically the button, we'll still have the yes and no for the notes, concerns, needs, or for the question, I'm sorry. We'll always show, I can't move this stuff, it's annoying me, I'm sorry. Okay, so we'll always scroll on down to a different question. Okay, so, sorry guys. Okay, here we go. So are there emerging behavioral concerns? Let's see if I can move this. I can't. So there will always be the yes and no. Okay, there it goes. There will always be the notes, comments, and needs box, because I guess there's just a delay on this. It's not in real time. There we go. And then, but there's also going to have to be a, maybe it's just this checkbox or something that if they check, then the follow-up box will populate. And I don't have it designed in my head. I have to play with it. So, Nora, I'll just work with you on it, okay?
Yeah, we can sit down. We can do it together. It won't be.
Nora has become a bit of a ninja. And then just the heads up, the only part, I'll just take a quick peek, but I think it'd be cool to do it. Just need to make sure that the radio button that's going to be doing the switch view is not named the same as any of the other radio buttons. That's that only time where it has to have its unique name.
Okay.
Otherwise, it doesn't matter if it's called.
So then we'll also we'll still have a follow-up tab, I think, that will be populated with all of the follow-ups from that monitoring checklist.
Will be populated with the information that we put in when we whatever it is, it's going to be already populated.
More as a report. I mean, it's not really a report, but just a list of all the follow-up items from that, and then that will actually feed into the report, the overall report. So.
Tony, did you import Corey's work?
Yeah. His stuff is in the monitoring checklist folder.
Under
pages organized by menu.
Okay.
So yeah, Gene, we've got the concept, I think, of what you would envision.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of getting it working. As far as the report, so this is very basic right now. So, and I'm looking at the report, and tell me if this is wrong, because I need you to give us feedback on this. So the report, the Excel spreadsheet that you had sent us, right? That we had to figure out a way to get that into the prototype. I'm calling that more of a report. So it's pulling in information from, so they fill out all the different tabs, all the different areas of the checklists. At the end, it's going to provide them a report, or provide them a screen that shows that spreadsheet, basically. But that spreadsheet is this. So they can always sort by the consumer. And I'm making it general. Like if I'm in a client record, it's just going to be for that client. It's going to be everything for that one consumer. Excuse me. But if I'm a case manager or their supervisor or whoever, as a staff person, I may want to run this for multiple consumers at one time. So
consumers, or sort by provider.
Yep. Depends
all
what
options that you could imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on. Yeah, exactly. And so here we can sort by the. I'll just show the screen.
Yeah.
So I don't have any data in here yet, but I'm just using Robinson Center as our fake provider. So I can sort it by what the provider, the date of the review, the consumer, the case manager. So then we'll just show basically all the data in here. And instead of having, I think on the spreadsheet it was medical service review only, behavior service review only, and I think what we'll do on here is just have the type of review and have it as a populate as behavior only, medical service review only, etc. So we'll come up with some data just to put in here, but I think that's our approach right now.
Okay.
Does that work? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Okay. And that it's fed by all the other, the data that we enter.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the prototype, but in the system it would be. We're going to pretend like it's fed. We're not going to build in all that behavior right now. Okay. So let's go back. That's monitoring checklist. We'll work on that one. That's a priority for Thursday. Let's look at we have our billing stuff in here. So Tim spent some time on the billing aspect, he tried to keep it simple. So let's go back for a second. The progress note, case note.
Oh yeah, we that billing cloud. We just have one of the masters in that billing, but if you open up your folder, you can get to both of his masters.
Okay. So here on the case note, the progress note, which that needs to be redone, the billable, we have to indicate whether or not it's a billable service, right? So we can have this default to yes or to no, whichever. And then once we submit it, basically that will turn into that will turn into our claim item. So we just try to keep it simple just to show that we can do billing. We'll need to enhance it probably at some point, but we can search, and this is more at the agency level, not specifically at the client or at the consumer level, because they can look, once the claim is created, typically providers or agencies look at that all together, like all of the claims from all their different consumers, and can review them, etc. I don't know if this works, actually. Okay. So this will show us the claim item profile, which has the service date, the provider, the staff provider, the duration of it.
And this, by the way, this is something that will show up in like the administrator dashboard. This is not under the consumer tab, right? We're thinking, or we didn't. We were fuzzy on that yesterday.
We haven't put it anywhere yet. It's going to have to be. I think where it's going to exist, it'll be a link from the dashboard. It won't be from the administrator.
Okay.
Theirs would be different. Theirs may be like they can review submitted claims because they'll have to adjudicate. I think, unless the claims are going to Medicaid directly. It just depends on the state and how it's set up, but we can do it however. So at within each dashboard, at the case manager, the navigator, and the provider, we'll have a link to view the billing view. Anyway, on that they can select the rate. The rate unit will automatically populate and the charge, the plan that it's going to be charged to, and that directs where it goes. So maybe it's a Medicaid claim, maybe it's going directly to the DDA, the DD administration. It just depends what type of plan this is it should be going to. Okay. So Tony, this table could be something that is in the portlet on the dashboards.
Okay. I was just trying to get a sense of, and that's nice because that would make sense then, because it's not necessarily related directly to a specific person.
Right.
This will show billing of all people or consumers in the system.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. Gene, any feedback on this part?
Sounds good.
Okay. Pretty straightforward. I mean, there's a lot more you can do with billing.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can get there. As far as a prototype, though, I don't really want to. I don't think it's worth our time spending so much time on the billing. I mean, we need to be able to talk through it and show that we understand the basic concepts of it. Having a plan that you can select where the claim is going to go, being able to adjudicate it from whoever the payer is. if it's a a government service contract or whether it's going to a third party, etc. Okay, so we've got that, and I'm going to close that one. What else do we have? We haven't completed the signature page yet, have we, on the ISP?
No, we haven't.
No, we have
We'll
not.
never
Okay.
go for that.
That's okay.
Maybe
we
that's
need to.
something I should do.
Yeah, that would be good, Nor.
Okay.
Also,
Well, yeah.
oh, the services. So let's see.
So the dashboard, if we're talking about adding that portlet for claims, that means that we have 4 pretty much set. After I tell you what I think they should be, the other 3.
Okay.
I'd like to run them by Jean.
Yeah, we should do that now. The other thing I just want to maybe, Nor, I'm going through the ISP budget right now as well, just to show. And Jean, I don't know if we reviewed this with you already.
This doesn't look familiar to me.
Okay. So the budget this is part of the ISP. So basically I don't know how to get rid of that thing. There we go. Click on it again. So my understanding, and Nora can probably talk through this if she could see the screen, but first off, you select, if I'm creating a ISP for Scott Strawman, one of the last steps in doing that is to create what services are going to be provided to him. So I can add my first type of service, respite care. That's done on a, let's say, a weekly basis, hours per week. Oops. Yeah, some of these are not active yet as far as, I think we just can talk through this more than anything. So we choose how, the week, the hours per week, how many weeks, and the rate is already set for us in the system. Now, the rate setting is something that we know we need to get to. We need to figure that out, how it's done from from one of the functional assessments that we're going to be using. But we're not quite there yet. So they can choose all of that information, choose the provider. So the provider search, so we'll have a list of the providers in the system, and then be able to add that service to their saved services for this ISP. So now we just have this is just an image basically. So this shows their list of services.
You have reached the voice.
We lost Noor.
9021206.
I'm going to mute that for a second. So, yeah, none of these are active. But anyway, it shows us that we can quickly see our safe service, our services, where they're going to be provided, and then our budget.
Yep.
Okay. So pretty straightforward, and we definitely wanted to make sure we got that in there in this round. Okay. So I know Nora, are you back?
Hello?
Hey, are you there?
Yeah, I just keep getting disconnected.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just blame your internet provider.
Yeah.
Happens to me too.
Well, I'm on my cell phone, so I'm not sure what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, did I miss something? Did you?
We were just going over the ISP budget.
We like it. It's good.
It's straightforward. We're using images in here. We're not using real data necessarily.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's going to have to. Mm-hmm.
And the rate is already set because you selected your type of service, and I know that there's more that goes into that, Jean, in terms of your rate is set by what your level of need is.
Right.
And then the type of service, but we haven't really gotten into that. We're assuming, we're pretending like that we've already gone through that step.
Right, exactly. I'm with you.
Yep.
Yeah, because it's just we're not sure how to represent it, and we know that each state does it differently, so it's very hard for us to.
Yeah.
We're not sure what to do.
One thing I just not typo, but we're actually calling it the individual support plan. I wonder if I can just.
Okay.
Tony, do you want to change that really quick on this page?
Which one are you? Individual support plan?
Yeah,
All right.
it's services, part 6, excuse me.
Getting to it.
And it's just-
Services, part
Individual
6.
support
Okay,
plan.
where do you,
Right.
individual services plan, and it's be supports plan?
Yeah.
Individual, where it says individual service plan costs, it's actually individual support plan costs.
Yep, at the bottom.
Oh, it's in a master. Why can't I see it? Oh, I see. Sec. I just gotta expand this here.
I don't understand why I can't click on that. Maybe it's just this page.
Okay, I got it. Individual.
Tony, I'm having problems on the menu, and maybe it's just the page that I'm on. It's not done yet.
Okay, let me type it up. What do you want? Support plan?
Support plan, yeah.
Support plan. Oops, I wrote plan down twice. That's back, and let me just put it back to the right size.
Can I just ask, what are the biggest takeaways you want Dr. Gu to have by the end of the session next week?
The biggest takeaways, I think, is that, well, that we made progress, even though we were delayed. I want him to understand that first off, by the time that we meet next Thursday, we'll have a totally different framework, a totally different design of the system. Because the first design was okay, but I think he is a very visual person. He wants to see things that are sellable, that look good.
Uh-huh.
I think after our next phase, after Thursday, we may not be totally ready to begin, talking to external partners about it, but I think we'll be in a much better spot. I think we have a little bit more work to do probably after next Thursday, but at that point we can begin to really hone down our story. There's a lot, depending on who's going to be talking to the potential customers, there's a lot that we still need to learn, and kind of get our knowledge base beefed up. As you can tell, Gene, it's still pretty new for us to talk through this stuff. It's taken some time.
Yep.
So there's still stuff that we need to learn to be able to talk the language.
Okay.
Yeah.
But takeaways. From my standpoint, I want him to feel comfortable that we're making progress, that we're ready to. I don't know if he wants to begin development on an actual system.
I had heard yes.
Okay.
And that would be, I think that would be a good, I don't know if it's a takeaway, but at least a question. Like, right now we don't have any load-bearing walls in the system. So when we said, I don't like this look, I want to do a completely different look, it's not a big deal because there was no architecture. It's all marketecture. At what point do we want to start putting in load-bearing walls? And I almost wondered.
We don't. Not in the prototype. I don't think.
Well, no. The prototype doesn't have load-bearing walls. It's all fake. Once you have software, then that's when it's like, you can't change it because that's the architecture we have. And I wonder when
as we develop.
Well, I think that the prototype is a separate concept than development. They're going to use the prototype to develop, but that doesn't mean that it's going to look exactly the same.
Oh, yeah, but I guess once you have code in there, then that's when you have this concept of, no, you can't do it that way because we started this architecture. You should have told us like 3 months ago. At what point do we want to start, switch over to the part where, we don't have that flexibility anymore? Do we have a solid enough feel that we're like, all right, we could start putting in load-bearing walls? Do we feel comfortable enough that we know this domain well enough to do that? Because his plans are to start putting in the code. Is that a good idea? Are we, do we have enough expertise now, kind of what we put together, to start making those permanent code decisions, or do we need to get more? So, I think that's a question to ask. He might want to start the coding. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. How would we know that that's a good idea or not? And I think that would probably be valuable for him to know.
Tells us if it's a good idea or not. Jean likes the system, and she thinks it's incomplete, but we can start on something, and we can start.
Yeah, there's,
she's the expert.
There's places where, I would love to show this to people right now. And also, when I talked to Gerard this morning, I mean, it sounds like Mississippi on the DD side is kind of pressing forward here. So
Yeah.
And that might be one of our
That's what I'd heard.
first opportunities. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
we can continue. I would love at some point when you feel comfortable, Gene, to circle back with Lane County too, just to get their input.
Yeah, I agree. And I've got this ISP committee that, I'm now facilitating the meetings. That's another place. I mean, in Oregon. So there's definitely venues, as soon as you all feel like you're ready for, for a more formal demo.
Yeah, we're not there yet. I mean,
No, but that's okay. It's getting there. It's getting there.
Well, and that's my thought is like, for the demo, like where do, how will we know, like, are we there yet? What will being there yet look like? Is that going to be something like when, is it kind of, how do we know that? Because it seems like this is one of those parts like we're going to keep on coming up with, and this is not a bad feeling. I'm just saying we keep on coming up with ways to make this better. And I think like we could keep on coming up with ideas for a long time. When's the critical like cut point where we're like, okay, this definitely is enough.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at, and this is accurate to where we are, phase one, and I'm not comfortable. Sometimes.
All right, we'll have to scrub that one from the record.
I don't. I think we'll be okay. I'm used to it. What was I saying?
Yeah,
Okay,
so maybe let's go through that list of saying like, all right, eligibility.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable that we have I think we can make things look better in every single area of the system. Eligibility, still things that I think we need to get beefed up. The wait list is one thing that we haven't, really done, and we need to figure that piece out.
That one doesn't seem as abstract of a concept. Like some of the other concepts seem more abstract.
I think it's
list doesn't seem as abstract to me.
Yeah, and we can probably steal whatever LTSS is using for the wait list. So I mean, there's things that we can.
I think in terms of development, just because I'm working on this aging project where we've done both, I don't think development is hindered by the prototype, and I don't think prototyping is hindered by development. I think they're two separate concepts. I think, developers will start developing and then ask us questions. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to be as I don't think we need to have all the answers before we start developing.
No, nor do I. I'm not talking right now. I'm not talking about development. I'm talking about being able to demo. I'm sorry, it's two different things.
Yeah.
Oh, but
we have two let me finish, if I could. We have two different purposes for the prototype. One is for business development, right? To talk with Mississippi, to talk with Lane County or the state of Oregon or other places that might be looking for a DD system. Because we don't have a system actually built yet, the prototype is our concept, our proof of concept, our R&D capabilities. Then the other aspect is for helping the developers start to program the system, to give them some concepts around it, to give the business analysts some concepts around how to program a software system that is going to work. So hopefully, probably it'll look somewhat similar to our prototype. It could not, and that's okay.
But then I think Gene's question is like, what do you want Dr. Gu to walk away with? From a biz dev perspective, like each one of those items, could we sell our concept of eligibility? Could we sell our concept of each one of those items? And if Gene were to say, these 10 items, the concept that you have, you clearly have the mastery. You could start selling that concept now. But these other ones, kind of giving us a feel of what concepts we have right now as a BD tool we could start selling and which concepts we need to go a little bit further before we can sell it. I think that would be next Thursday if he could have a status of, all right, you guys crushed it on eligibility. You can sell that concept. The incident reporting, it's close. I think we have an understanding of it, verbally, but I don't think you don't have a visual that's sellable. I think that would probably be, like from a BD part, a good takeaway, for all of us too. Because like I said, I'm now in the weeds, because I'm just motoring through. If we could kind of at the higher level, and I think that's what Gene offers, to say which of these concepts you're like, yeah, you could start selling eligibility to anyone and they would understand it. I think that would probably be super helpful. My opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and he can. That's something that he can respond to. You know,
Yeah.
you've got Corey. You've got your phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 screens up, and
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm remembering this inaccurately, but it seemed like he wanted all of phase 2 done by the next time he saw it. Do I have that right or not?
Yeah, he does. The one thing that we won't have done is the quality measures. I mean, so let's go through what is in phase 2. So profile, that's going to be complete. The dashboards, we'll have that. Instant reporting, the authorization and billing. I mean, there's probably still work that we can do, but I think that we have a good start with it. I mean, I can consider that for the most part complete. There may be things we want to tweak later on. Encounters, progress notes, we have that. Appeals, we do have that. Nor's working on that one. The redetermination, I'm a little fuzzy on that. Nor, where we are with that.
Appeals were done with.
Appeals were done. What about redetermination?
Redetermination we haven't worked on. That's what we were talking about with Gene the other day.
Right.
We haven't covered that.
Gene, where does this lie in the priority list?
You know, I mean, if you want, you can move it over to phase 3.
Okay.
I mean, it's going to depend on the state. So, yeah, for Oregon, it would be mission critical. For maybe other states, not so much.
Okay.
So, now, and rate setting, we really haven't incorporated fully yet, right? We've got the mock-up of the SIS page, but...
Yeah, we don't know how it's done. I mean, that's one area that we still don't know enough to.
So, I mean, as Nor saying earlier, there's so many different states use different algorithms, and I mean, frankly, I don't know how much time you spend on rate setting for a prototype.
That was kind of our thought too. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it's necessary in the system, obviously, and it depends on the functional assessment that is used and what the state uses. But as far as getting it in the prototype, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good selling point.
It's that you have the capacity to do it is a critical selling point.
Okay.
That you spend, hundreds of hours mocking up an algorithm. I don't know.
Yeah, if we can have credibility that we know, if we can demonstrate, hey, we have credibility, we can build something like this. Maybe we can just. I mean, the other ones in the phase 1 was easier because those are very concrete requirements. You're like, this is literally what it looks like on a piece of paper, and we kind of want something like that on the UI. That was pretty straightforward. These other ones are a little bit more conceptual, and maybe maybe the way FEI sells that is we've done this several times over, and we began here, and we but in order to invest it, since it's kind of a one-off,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
There are certain concepts that are just, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe one thing we have a lesson learned from here is some things are very good and worthwhile to prototype, and those are probably reusable concepts that everyone would benefit from, and perhaps the ones in the prototype that aren't as worthy of the efforts for prototyping would be. Yeah, there's got to be some criteria, probably what's best for that and what's not.
It's one thing to prototype. I mean, if we're doing business development opportunities or presentations, the prototype would be part of it. The other part would be, showing our knowledge base of how to do rate setting, and everything, but specifically with rate setting, I don't think we have that knowledge base yet within how the functional assessments actually do the rate setting, how those algorithms are created.
That's why we have subject matter experts. Like, the prototype does not represent everything we know. So if part of our selling is that we have expertise, then that's where we bring in Nor and Gene and whomever else to demonstrate, yes, we have this type of knowledge on hand.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like right now the one place where we're hanging out in terms of a prototype is the quality measures, because every state DD system has to abide by the basic assurances.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, that has got to get reflected.
How do we make, I mean, NOR has started analysis or will start analysis for, I think is it LTSS, NOR, that you're going to look at that?
No, LTSS does not have quality measures, guys. What I am doing, though, is for the dashboard, I'm creating this, it's kind of like a graph, and it's pretend, okay?
Yeah.
Because this is our job in Mississippi, to do this whole concept of quality measures, but we honestly have not gone through the research yet. And you know that it's actually quite a bit of research.
Mm-hmm.
So, what I'm going to do is create a table. When we first met, you gave us this, I think you remember this, the Lane County and how they determined their performance measures.
Yeah.
What I'm working on mocking up is kind of like a graph that kind of throws up some of those outcome measures and pretend performance.
Okay.
Based on the outcome measures, based on get data we do indeed and we will gather in the system, whether it be a combination of our prototypes, some LTSS stuff, some WIT stuff, it will end up being in the system. So it's going to be like a performance kind of thing on the dashboard. Now, I realize that there's more to it, but we can't, I don't think we can, at this point, do any more, because I'm supposed to be on that project, and that project I anticipate will take a year.
Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
You know, from my perspective, one of the reasons why why I really wanted to work with you all is because you're not just about building the system. The way that you build the system informs policy development and innovation. You know, and that's what kind of sets you apart from a lot of these other things.
Yeah, and the quality measures, I feel like, first off, they've changed them recently. I've noticed. There's new measures. I don't know if you've followed this, James, but there's new measures for the waivers, and we're going to have to deal with that too.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. But I just don't think for the prototype we're going to have time to get into it.
No.
But we can give the concept, right, on the I mean, I think that is great.
Yeah, I'm going to throw up performances on the dashboard. It's going to look like we pull it from our system. It's going to look great, but whether it really functions, that's not going to happen right now.
Sounds good.
So, I mean, at the very least, we'll say, like, hey, in our visionary scenario, we envision that quality measures is a critical part, and that's why it's going to be one of the first things you see when you're on the dashboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
Okay, so that's great. That's great. I think that that gets us further than what I thought we were going to have with quality measures in phase 2. So let me think. So is there anything that we're missing in phase 2? Sorry? Oh. So redetermination is one area that we still may need to, if we have time over the next few days, to visit. And NOR, I don't know that if you'll have time to look at that. Are you still there?
Have time to look at
redetermination.
Yeah, I mean, Corey, it could be pretty simple. Yeah, I can. Okay, so at this point, I need to mock up the signature page. I'm gonna give redetermination a shot, and we need to finish the dashboard. Those are my 3 items.
And I can take on the signature page if you'd like.
Well, I think the most important thing is to make sure we prioritize what the most important thing is, because I just know that, I'm working with a bunch of high achievers here that are all, we're coming up with a ton of more things to do.
I think the number one priority is the dashboards are number one priority for you, NOR. Okay.
Yeah.
I would say the signature page, I mean, if you want to do that, it should be pretty simple.
No, it is very simple, and I'm gonna I can do screenshots, so don't worry about it.
I'll let
I
you do
can
that
take care of
because
that.
yeah,
And there's
And-
the monitoring forms that we need to update the views on that.
yeah, you'll help me with that one. And maybe Nor, I don't
Yeah.
know, since your connection's kind of bad today, I don't know if that works out for you to help work on it today
Yeah,
with me.
I need to go somewhere else and get good internet because my house is under construction and they did something
Ah,
to it.
okay.
Yeah.
So, so then if we work on that, maybe if you early next week you work on redetermination. Let's just
Yeah,
try
so-
that.
And,
That way we-
and then for the rest of the week, I'd really like to do what we didn't do last time, which is go through and make sure everything's aligned. The styling stuff that we didn't focus on last time that I think is going to make a big difference this time.
It will. I mean, I really would love us to get to a point where we're comfortable in showing every single page, and I'm not there yet.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, some of these are
Tony,
perfectly fine, but
Yeah, and that's the part where it's like the styling. Once our, because we laid it out like once we have the kind of the what you would want to see and what you would want it to do, then like it's so much easier to put the styling on it afterwards. Because every time you change a behavior, you potentially have to redo your styles. So once we've got our pages, we check off like this one's done. All we need to do is style it.
okay.
Then those are, well, that's just kind of the one process we'll want to do.
Well,
just before.
Tony, I'm kind of feeling that there are some pages we already don't have. We're not going to be adding pages to. I'd
Yeah,
like to start earlier
yours,
in
for
the styling.
example. The reporting one,
Yeah.
for example, and I said we're doing that one today. I am,
Yeah.
I'm just, what I did is I copied your page, and I'm using that on Corey's page, so when I style yours, it also styles Corey's at the same time, because you guys are both
Okay,
using
yeah,
some
just
span
get
collapse.
started on the styling because
Yeah, I mean,
last time it was last minute.
Yeah, this intake, I believe, is pretty much done. I don't know that there's anything else we're going to do to intake. Any of the pages under intake. So if we could start styling those, I'm like this one. I see there's a black box around the entire page on technical eligibility. So I don't know why that is. That needs to be removed.
Yeah, and we'll take the, we get the updated style page from Moore. I'll make sure that nothing will exist on a page style-wise unless it also exists on Moore's style page. And if there's something we've invented that Moore didn't style, I'll surface that so we'll know what we need to do.
Yeah, keep it simple, but okay, financial. Yeah, enrollment. I don't love our enrollment page, but I guess I don't know what else to do with it. The wait list. I mean, the wait list is something else that could be included in phase 2.
And in terms of the styling thing, I know it's hard. I mean, it's hard to look at something that doesn't look good, but that is definitely something. I'm gonna start. I will get 2 pages styled already today. I mean, the Moore's and Corey's, or Norris and Corey's rather.
Yeah,
And,
why don't I take a look at the wait list? I'll see what I can do for the wait list. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. And if there's something I can do, so Tony, don't style waitlist that page yet.
Yes, I'm going to just do those 2 pages, and I've got the menus and a couple other things I'm working on. So styling for sure. I mean, the reason why it seems like it's the last one is because that's the best thing to do at the very end.
No reason you don't need to defend. It's fine. It's all right.
Right.
The ISP, I think.
Yeah, and this is something. Corey and I, we went through it. It's okay right now, but the one thing that Moore had said that we probably want to avoid is right now we have 3 levels of navigation on top of navigation. That probably doesn't kill us on Thursday's demo, but that's probably not the ideal practice. So those navigation things should probably be portlets on the right-hand side that you use for your navigation as opposed to the way it currently is.
There could be some other way.
Yeah.
Hi, baby. Bye.
Tony, also just remember the splash page for the outcomes.
The outcomes, yep.
Behind, it's populated
So,
behind.
and Tony, for the ISP, remember there's that huge space?
Exactly. That is Corey's on the our troublemaker screen. Not only is there a huge space, but it's also pushes the whole thing over to the right. So that is, that there. I will go through all these to make sure they conform to
Yeah,
our style page.
Tony, if that could be your job, like just go through and make sure it looks great, that would be good.
Absolutely.
'Cause you're-
Styling is a tricky
you have the
skill, and it's
capability to do that. I have trouble.
absolutely.
You know,
Do not, don't worry about the style. I'll start going through the styles, and I'll have a checklist so you can see what I'm doing there. But
okay.
there is a way of doing it where you can not fight yourself, which is I'll show you. Anyway, so that's why I'll do that.
Jean, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Could I, like, when Corey and I decide on the admin dashboard, could we send you a screenshot and you tell us if these look like good outcomes, Corey, if that's okay?
That's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, of course.
Because what I'm envisioning, Corey and Jean, is like the one for those quality measures, one that actually tracks. So it wouldn't be the administrator dashboard, it would be like the case manager dashboard, and that would track, Scott's specific outcomes and how he's doing on them, right?
Yep.
And then, see, that's the thing, I have a bunch of different ideas for different dashboards. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure what
Well,
I'm going to do
Nora,
about
why
that.
don't this, as soon as you get to a place that has better internet, you and I can connect,
Yes.
and then we can
Okay.
go through the dashboard ideas and also the, what was
The
the other
monitoring.
thing? The monitoring form, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I wrote it down, don't worry. Okay.
I knew it would come back to me.
Jean, are we in a better place than we were last time?
Yes. Oh, for Dr. Goo? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's a tough crowd, that guy, huh? There's a reason why.
Yeah.
Nora's afraid because I gave her my first prototype thing that I ever did with Dr. Goo, and this is when I learned that he's extremely clear at providing. I'm still here, so I guess that's okay. But I showed him my first prototype. He's like, "This doesn't look good." Now, fortunately, that same prototype, like later on, the version, it got accepted and presented it to the Surgeon General. But his first thought was, "It doesn't look good," and he took his feedback, and this ended up being presented at a 50,000 person conference, and the Surgeon General selected ours. There was only 3 other vendors that were selected, and she went to ours first. So he didn't fire me because the prototype looked bad, but he wasn't concerned about my feelings either.
No.
Well, that's, he's the leader.
Yeah.
He
So
is definitely that. So,
but if he says something looks good, that means he's not trying to make you feel good. It's because it looks good. So.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's sincere.
So do we need I got to get going here in a minute, but do we need a call on Sunday morning or something like that to check in with each other, or what do we need to do?
Let's do.
'Cause I have some craziness going on next week, so.
I think it'd be good to have the weekend to kind of keep. I mean, I've got some things that will keep me busy this weekend.
Yeah.
So I really think that, the feedback, if there's a way that, will we have an ability to pull up before Thursday?
Oh, we absolutely do. I mean, Jean, what is your availability early next week?
Yeah, hang on. Let me,
One thing that I would like to do, if we could, and we don't necessarily even have to share it outside the group, but if we could kind of get just Jean's gut feel on each one of the items, even the ones we've already done, and saying, like, is this a sellable concept the way we currently have it, yes or no? It would just be nice to kind of have at least our own internal scorecard of how we're doing and completely candid. And then I think that ultimately, that would be valuable for Dr. Goo too.
Yeah, and Jean, you'll be at the demo, right, on Thursday? Or
yes.
Joining us? Okay. I mean, that is something that you can definitely...
At 10 o'clock. It's at 10 o'clock Eastern, right? The demo? 10 o'clock Eastern?
Yes, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central.
Okay, all right. So 7 my time, yeah.
There's a link meeting in there. Okay, good.
And don't feel bad about hurting feelings too. Like, because Dr. Goo will hurt feelings too if things aren't bad. So
yeah.
I'd like to hear it first before we get in there, so we know, like, all right.
So my week is that I could do something on Sunday or I could do something on Wednesday. Monday and Tuesday are completely out for me.
we've got enough work to get us going through. I mean, Wednesday's good. I mean, for my part, we can pull up on a Sunday, but I think we'll have more progress on Wednesday, unless there's a thing we want input on this quality measures dashboard. If there's fuzzy concepts, then we need to have that Sunday.
Can we send things to you offline, Gene?
Sure, of course.
For your feedback. Okay. Sunday, I'm not sure. I'm visiting I'm going to be working this weekend, but I'm going to be back at my family's farm in Iowa. So I don't know what my availability is going to be Sunday morning for a specific time. So
that's cool. All right. I just want to be open to whatever the team needs.
Well, Nor, Tony, I mean, what do you think? Do you want to try for Sunday, or
personally,
do you want to?
With the things I'm working on, I don't think I would need it. I mean, I always like hearing feedback, but I think I could make it until Wednesday. But some of the items but I'm working on the more concrete stuff. Nor's got more of the fuzzy stuff, so she might benefit. So I don't want to.
Okay.
I have easier tasks than Nor.
Gene, I'll just send you the pictures.
Okay.
Once I get them done. I don't need a phone call. You can tell me this sucks. Add this to the axis. It's just gonna be graphs or tables.
Okay. Well, why don't we plan on?
I don't need you to take out time.
Especially if it's an Excel spreadsheet too. If Nor's like, if you're prototyping what a quality measure would look like in an Excel spreadsheet, well, that's pretty sweet too, because Jean probably has Excel and she can modify it, saying like this would be a better title or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's a simple kind of little things like that. If you have a brilliant idea of like what you totally think should go on the dashboard and I'm missing it, I always appreciate that.
I think that's a great idea if the collaboration's on Excel or something like that. Because then that's something we can pull into the prototype really easy. Jean has Excel, and then she even has editing control over that. If she's like, I love the concept, but I wish the label were different, it should be.
Okay.
Blank.
Yep, Jean's got to run, I think, here soon, so I don't want to hold her any longer. Jean, I'm not going to be available Wednesday. I've got an all-day kickoff meeting at SAMHSA, so but you guys are welcome to meet. If Tony or Nor, do you want to schedule it for you guys?
Yes, let's have it scheduled on Wednesday, because I think at the very least on Wednesday, I would just like to kind of get a scorecard of where we stand on Wednesday before the demo on those items there.
What time on Wednesday works for you, Jean?
I'm let me see. I could do before noon Eastern.
Okay.
Or after 3 Eastern.
Okay. Why don't you guys plan on doing before noon on Eastern? That way, it gives you time to work on stuff in the afternoon. So, You want to say 10 o'clock Eastern?
Yes.
Sure.
Perfect. Okay. Tony, do you want to go ahead and just schedule that right now?
I am scheduling it right now.
And you don't need to include me because I won't be available.
Okay.
Include Tim though too.
Just leave us in the lurch and see how it is, Corey.
You guys, in the last day you can change whatever you want to. I have no control over that.
He's going to be in his suit at SAMHSA. Ooh.
For another kickoff meeting on an actual funded project, so gotta be there.
On real software?
Real software.
We haven't heard yet from CMS, right?
No, I heard something yesterday. We haven't yet. No.
Okay.
Have not. I know. Okay.
They should have given us the healthcare website.
Yeah, we would not want to have that one be associated with it. It would have been great money, but no.
Well, it's too
much risk.
I feel bad for the guys that won the contract, because they have this assumption that CMS follows. Like, they have some assumptions about technology that are not true. Like, they don't use standard port names for any of their systems, so they just kind of assume they're like, I can do an eligibility check and I don't have to know what this custom port number is. But everything's custom, so you have to go to some guy. They don't even have like a nice central domain server to find all the things. So any new vendor that's never done work with CMS gets an unpleasant surprise of how difficult it is to find where a server is. So connections is very difficult there.
Sounds like fun.
Wow.
But,
All right.
Okay, I just turn this right. So that's good.
Thank you, Jean.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, Gene. We will get it together, and also, Gene, so I may not talk to you before Thursday. Feel free to critique as much as possible, because that's what we need. We need your honest
And Jean,
feedback.
if you want to walk through the whole prototype Sunday, if I feel like we're getting somewhere, I'll email you and let you know, and I can walk you through it.
Okay, all right, whatever everybody needs. I'm here.
And I can be available Sunday too. Just depends on the time. So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Gene. Thank you. Nor, Tony, hold on for a minute, okay?
Great work, everybody. Y'all take care.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
All right, guys. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't hold you much longer because I'm sure you want to get to a place that has better internet. So, Tony, you are. I know. So, are you going to implement the new navigation that Moore sent, or do you want to?
I didn't see it, but I will implement that. I'm currently, Corey, I'm putting your items in that tab thing, like reportable incidents. I'm on your page right now. And by the way, so what I've done, just as an FYI, all of your stuff is in a master. That's just a technique of if you want to safely move something from one page to another.
Okay.
You'll see that. So all of your items, you go to your page, you can't do anything, and you just have to double click it, and it moves you to a master. That way, that'll allow you to work in your thing, and you won't know it, but it's actually populating my page.
All right. Well, I'll continue working on the. Once I'll work with Nor on the other pages. So we got that. We got enough to do. I know.
Yes.
You guys know what you need to do.
Your items got to be in there, and then I'm going to style, when I do that style that Moore had on Nor's pages, that'll also roll over to yours because you'll be using the exact same template.
Yep. Okay. All right. Nor, how much time do you want before we meet again?
Can I ping you?
Yeah.
Maybe half an hour.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Let me just go for somewhere to sit.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll talk to you,
Goodness.
Tony. We'll talk. We'll check in like an hour or two. And stuff. So. All right, guys.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah, bye bye.
Bye bye.